Hello, it's Trackapicer here. It's been a while since I've made a recorded video rather than just a straight up live stream that wasn't me reading out of a book or something. I wanted to make a quick video about my experience as a Tech Field Day delegate. I recently had the honor of being selected as a delegate for Tech Field Day exclusive with Cisco 2022. That's the name that was given to it. It's quite long, but whatever. This was a pretty big honor for me, and it happened to be a Tech Field Day specifically dedicated to Cisco and Cisco only. If you're not familiar with Tech Field Day, it's an event that's put on by a company called Gestalt IT, and it's basically a series of live streamed and recorded meetings between enterprise IT companies and people who work in the tech industry. These companies want to usually share their new or improved products that they're launching or about to launch. And the people in the tech industry that are there listening are what are called delegates. They serve as these sort of interviewers who ask questions and basically are representatives for the tech companies who are there, their ideal audience. So delegates are expected to ask questions, to get to the meat of these solutions that the companies are offering. Respectfully, of course, but there's room to push these companies and really ask important questions on behalf of potential future buyers of their products. Delegates aren't there just to make the companies look good. I mean, they're on behalf of the real target audience. So they're really there to drill down into questions like, why are your solutions needed? Why would anyone buy your product? What are you doing differently than all the other companies out there with something very similar? What's different about your product? Why do we want to buy your product? Delegates are encouraged, but not required, to talk about the products over social media while this is happening as well, or shortly before or after. They can post about these products on various platforms and share their thoughts because everything that these companies are talking about and presenting, it's all public information. There's a hashtag that's given to the event, so delegates can monitor that hashtag on Twitter or something. And if anybody has a question who's watching the live stream but isn't a delegate, then the delegates can actually, ask these questions for them if they post using the hashtag, right? I wanted to make a video about my experience as a Tech Field Day delegate, basically because this is the first time I've ever served as a delegate for one of these events, and I definitely learned quite a bit from it. I'll admit right now that most of the products that Cisco brought forward I wasn't familiar with, but it was still super interesting. I learned a lot, and yeah. So the first thing that I learned overall, I can say, Cisco isn't fucking around. Cisco has a lot of different products that are going on. They're really focusing on security. Um, they have a lot of offerings that are packed with information. We've got lots of dashboards going on, lots of things with the words cloud insights. There's lots of talk of integrating cloud environments and aggregating data. I gotta say that, IoT devices are not just the new trend of buzzword. Tech companies are talking about IoT, and now they're talking about the cloud and words like, cloud transformation, digital transformation, cloud native, insight, all these like buzzwords are what we're using now, right? There's a lot of still this push towards like a single pane of glass type of deal where you can integrate all of your stuff. I will say that I didn't see a single product that did anything perfectly, right? There's no like one-stop shop, single pane of glass that can integrate everything, but it was still, pretty impressive what Cisco's managed to do. Everything is about the cloud. I can't emphasize that enough, and you'll probably not be surprised by that at all, but it is just cloud, 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 cloud. I'm forgetting what the word cloud means anymore because it just means we're seeing it so fucking much. Cloud everywhere, cloud. I've got to say, being a delegate in general, this shit is overwhelming if you're not already familiar with the tech that they're talking about at least a little bit. We had a great presentation from somebody from Thousand Eyes, and I was good with that because I've used it before in a previous position, but security stuff, the Nexus dashboard, etc., I had no absolutely no clue what I was looking at, and really not a whole lot of context for any questions that I could have asked or anything for following up. So I did pretty badly at asking questions on those subjects because I'm not familiar with the content and I didn't want to waste anybody's time asking a stupid question, right? Basically, I need a tech field day, but for 6-year-olds, I think I would have performed really well. Being chosen to be part of these events is a great way to learn, but you have to stay on your toes and it can get pretty tiring if you're not like ready for it. These vendors, they come into it knowing that they're going to be asked questions, and so they're kind of expecting it and they're kind of hoping for it too, because as much as you want to drill down to like the reasons why somebody might buy their product, they really want to give you the reasons why, right? They're sales engineers and technical people for a reason, right? They're there to present to you and they're there to answer your questions and tell you why you should buy their product. I learned a new phrase that I really think is interesting. It's called a canary based approach. It means that, when we're talking about migrating traffic from one service to another, you gradually direct that traffic from the old service to the new one. Give it a little bit of time, establish confidence in the new service, and then you start to increase the amount of traffic directed to the new service. Another thing that I learned is that demos are basically the only way that I really like learn stuff and it sinks in, right? Because demos are just, I'm a very visual learner, and I know that term is, that sentence, I'm a visual learner, that's bandied about a lot. But I have to say I truly am. I'm not bullshitting. I when I see something happen, it gels so much better in my brain than just hearing about it or reading about it. Almost every presenter, especially the second day, I think everybody did have a demo. The first day, almost everyone had a demo that they could give us. So that was pretty cool, was to see demos of all these little dashboards, look at the different ways that cloud environments can be integrated, how security environments can be integrated. There's a lot going on with these dashboards, and Cisco was very generous with the demos, thank God. So everybody started out with a context behind the solution they're presenting, and this was very good. Obviously, you need a reason, you need to set the scene of why you would buy a product, but literally every single like contextual reason for buying a product was that the cloud, like that was the reason. The changing workplace because of COVID, right? We have to talk about that, and then the cloud and COVID, the two biggest reasons for literally anything in the tech world right now. It seems to be those two. I also realized halfway through everything that vendors, this was only one vendor granted, but I'm sure that other vendors are also following suit. It seems as though there's just still that search for the unicorn, the single pane of glass that's going to let you do everything. And of course, we're never going to get there ever. Like, that's never going to happen. However, it's fun to watch vendors try. Lastly, I learned about myself that I had, in the past, and I have still nothing really to add when it comes to security. I have no experience in that area, and I'm not interested in pretending I know more than I do. So when it came to those kinds of products, which, Cisco really does have some decent offerings there, I really had nothing to offer. I didn't have any great questions I could ask. It was all just sort of like me soaking in a lot of information. So I feel like I learned a lot more just by listening than ever asking questions. I think that made me a very weak delegate this time around, but I'm fortunate to have had the opportunity to do this because, like I keep saying, I learned a lot. This was a fascinating event for me. So, in summary, Tech Field Day was a blast. It was intense, but I learned a lot, and I'm very fortunate to have gotten the opportunity to do so. The Gestalt IT people are pros, and Tech Field Day is awesome. I look forward to working with them in the future. That's my video. That's what I've got. I could go into all the little details about the products, but I feel like I would be doing them a disservice, quite honestly, because the experts, the pros, the people who know what they're talking about, they are actually all of the Tech Field Day exclusive with Cisco 2022 information, all the live streams from those days, they are all online at Gestalt IT their website, and I think also their YouTube channel. So I will post links to that stuff below, as well as links to Tech Field Day information and the delegate pages from this year and all of that. So thanks for joining me on this little talk about Tech Field Day. I hope you all go ahead and head over to their page, watch the recorded streams, and learn some about Cisco's products and some other vendors while you're at it.